Hey guys, welcome back! As you know, there were a few games on the PlayStation 2 that offered 480p resolution. I'm talking about the PAL region, obviously, cause, as you know, I live in Portugal. On the latest count, there are 179 games that can output to 480p, but only 52 of those are for the PAL region. You can check the full list by clicking on the link down in the description below. Progressive scan is achieved by using a components cable and is way better than interlaced scan. It produces less flickering, cause the lines are drawn in sequence, so in consequence it's better for the eyes. There are three main methods that developers implemented in-game to turn progressive scan on: by suggesting it at the startup, through the game's menu, and by holding a combination of buttons on the DualShock while booting. So let's take a look at a few that I have in my collection.
Mortal Kombat Deception.
Starting things off with a Mortal Kombat game, Deception, a genre that I stopped loving a couple of decades ago, cause I simply don't have the necessary skills to be victorious. Even so, I've accepted the challenge of giving you a glimpse of what it's like to play this game with 480p support. Bear in mind that this is the only way to enjoy real 480p progressive scan. HDMI upscalers won't simply do the trick. The option of running Mortal Kombat Deception in progressive scan mode is offered in the game's menu. As simple as that. And as you can witness, it looks incredibly sharp and beautifully detailed, something that would be distorted and somewhat muffled when not taking advantage of progressive scan and component cables altogether. It was developed and published by Midway back in 2004 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and in 2005 for the GameCube. In 2006 it also arrived to the PlayStation Portable under a different title, Mortal Kombat Unchained. It's the sixth main installment in the franchise and the sequel to Deadly Alliance from 2002, and offers 26 characters to play with, 9 of them making their first appearance in the series. Several new features also premiered in the series, such as chess and puzzle games with the Mortal Kombat characters and an online mode. The Conquest mode, Conquest with a K, returns from the previous game, now containing elements of open-world exploration in between story progression.
Finish him! Melina wins. Resident Evil 4.
In Resident Evil 4 we have to hold cross and triangle at booting so that progressive scan can be enabled. And I can tell the difference right away. This is still my favorite Resident Evil game from the series, when talking about the original releases. I'm yet to try the remakes of the first two games. I've never really enjoyed those two back in the good old days of the original PlayStation, mainly cause I simply hated the tank controls, so disorienting, and because of that, I completely skipped the third game in the series, and even the 2002 remake of the first game for the GameCube, that was later remastered for the current gen systems. Many of you will crucify me for that, I'm sure, but Resident Evil 4 brought a new gameplay mechanics that was what I was really looking forward to since the beginning. An amazing game and one of my favorites on the system.
Jak 3.
As you can witness, my copy of Jak 3 is still sealed. So, let's break the seal and try it out for the first time. Yeah, that's right. Never had the chance to play this third installment in this highly popular series from Naughty Dog. And you're probably asking, what's the point of messing around with this PS2 version of Jak 3 if there are remastered versions on the PlayStation 3 and 4? Well, because I want to. Back in 2004, way before HD TVs became affordable and a trend, this was the only way to get the most out of the PS2. And it's awesome to revisit those years, cause, let's face it, no one played this game with 480p progressive scan back in the day. No one had HD TVs, let alone component cables. Just like in Mortal Kombat Deception, accessing 480p progressive scan is achieved by visiting the game's menu. We can immediately see the difference in sharpness, shadows, well, details all around. Like in its predecessor, gameplay is a mix of platforming, gun combat and driving. The main protagonist is led through the story by completing missions that are assigned by the various characters in the game. Those missions can consist of anything from defeating particular enemies, reaching a specific location, or completing a puzzle. There is even the chance to freely explore the massive game world as we see fit. Controlling the camera though can be a bit disorienting. Don't really know if there's an option to invert it. Even so, it was a pretty awesome couple of hours spent messing around with this game, and I'll surely be coming back for more.
True Crime New York City.
True Crime New York City isn't that bad. It tried to be a Grand Theft Auto clone, but with a new approach. The progressive scan can be accessed through the game's menu, and it really brings this game to a whole new level, cause the image tends to be really dark and obscure. We play the role of Marcus Reed, a former gang member turned into a cop, and this was supposed to be the first part of a series of games set in New York City. But because of its huge commercial failure, its sequel was cancelled. Later, the True Crime franchise was again picked up, and a game set in Hong Kong was being developed, but 2 years later was also dropped. The publishing rights were then sold to Square Enix, and True Crime Hong Kong was released as Sleeping Dogs, but without any connection to the True Crime series. As a reminder, the very first True Crime game, known as True Crime Streets of LA, also offers 480p. I only have the Xbox version of that one, so I can't show you any footage of Streets of LA running on the PlayStation 2.
Ghost Hunter.
Ready for another PlayStation 2 exclusive game? And this one wasn't yet remastered. It still remains a PS2 exclusive. It was first released in Europe back in late 2003 and in 2004 in the US and Japan. The US version even ended up receiving over 1500 fixes and improvements over this PAL version that I have here. Yeah, that's right. Why? Beats me. Don't have a freaking clue. So to access 480p progressive scan, the option simply pops out when the game is booting. Don't need to press a combination of buttons or access the game's menu. It couldn't be simpler from where I'm standing. If you love Ghostbusters, you will truly enjoy this one. I did! I've already brought it to the channel in one of my early videos, a hidden gem that many other players should experience. Xbox, Nintendo and PC gamers, I'm talking to you! In this third-person shooter, we control Lazarus Jones, a Detroit detective that is on his first day on the job. While on a routine call with his partner, Anna Steele, they are sent to an abandoned school to investigate reports of unusual sounds in the building, so you're guessing where this is going, right? We accidentally release a group of imprisoned ghosts from their confinement, and our partner is kidnapped by one of those entities. We then must enter the ghost realm to track her down and, well, good luck!
Primal is a PlayStation 2 exclusive game developed by SCU Studio Cambridge that brought us the Medieval series back in the glory days of the original PlayStation. The option of running Primal in progressive scan mode is offered while booting, and it really looks sharp and clean with that mode enabled. Back in 2016 was re-released for the PlayStation 4 through the PlayStation Network, with slightly improved graphics and trophy support. In Primal we play as Jan or as Scree, the gargoyle. Jan's boyfriend was attacked during a live concert by this weird creature. Then the creature runs off with him, leaving the main protagonist badly injured. Scree the gargoyle tells her that she must leave the physical plane Mortalis and accompany him to the demon plane known as Oblivion. During gameplay we can change between Jen and Scree, cause both have their unique strengths and skills.
Destroy all humans.
This is yet another example of a game that received a full remake back in 2020. Even so, it's always great to revisit this original version of Destroy All Humans, released back in 2005 and that offered 480p progressive scan resolution. Just by using component cables is a huge step up from all other connections, and with 480p support it just makes it smoother and crisper. It's incredible to see what could be achieved with this console practically 20 years ago, and these 6 games featured in this video are living examples of the technical prowess mastered by everyone involved in making them. Again, just go to the game's menu and turn progressive scan on. The game is set in 1959 in the United States and pokes fun of the lifestyles, pop culture and political attitudes of this time period. We play as an alien creature named Crypto, who has come to Earth to harvest DNA from humans to continue the cloning process of his species. Tons of weapons are at our disposal, and our UFO is even equipped with a deathly ray that can burn everything down to the ground. The game was so well received and hugely successful that spawned several sequels. Fox Broadcasting purchased the rights to the game back in 2005 and a year later announced and advertised the computer-animated TV comedy show in Destroy All Humans 2. Sadly, it ended up cancelled for some unknown reason.
Tomb Raider Anniversary.
I absolutely love the Tomb Raider franchise, and Tomb Raider Anniversary, along with Legend, was the rebirth of the series after that awful Angel of Darkness thing that almost killed Lara. Crystal Dynamics came to the rescue with Tomb Raider Legend in 2006 and in 2007 with this incredible remake of the original game from 1996, and besides offering progressive scan resolution, the PlayStation 2 release could also be purchased as a special and European exclusive collector's edition, offering more stuff besides the game, like a documentary, promotional material and a CD with music not only from Anniversary but also from Legend. It was highly praised upon release, but in contrast, sold really poorly. It was even pointed as the worst-selling game in the entire franchise. However, its gameplay and levels were rebuilt, the narrative was expanded by Toby Gard himself, that, as you know, was the one that created Lara and her own attributes in the first place. The original soundtrack was remade and revamped using an orchestral style, so this is a must-have and a must-play title.
Burnout Revenge.
3 years prior to Burnout Paradise, Revenge was released for the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, being a few months later. Also enhanced and revamped for the brand new Xbox 360 console, with several new features and a vastly improved online mode. Even so, let's revisit this last entry of the series in that specific gaming era and 128-bit generation of consoles. On the PlayStation 2, holding the cross and triangle buttons together at booting unlocks the option of running this game in 480p mode. Something that indeed takes this game to a new level of gameplay, stability and fluidity. And have I told you that I don't miss those scan lines so common on CRT displays? This is the way I wish I had played Burnout Revenge back in the day, in all its glory. Since 2018 that we can play the Xbox 360 version both on the One and Series X and S, and that's without doubt the way it should be played. But in my particular case, this is the only way I can play it, using my trustworthy PS2 and a set of component cables. Prices of the 360 version of the game are high, and I don't own an Xbox One nor Series X or S to get the most out of it. So what can be said about Burnout Revenge? Well, it's basically the same old winning formula and similar to its predecessor Burnout 3 Takedown. Even so, it had room for expansion on the combat side of its gameplay, with new features like ramming same-way traffic, vertical takedowns when landing on a rival car after a jump, a new game type entitled Traffic Attack, and huge changes to the well-known crash mode. So if you enjoy true arcade racing games, Burnout Revenge is for you. It can't get more arcade than this.
Shadow of the Colossus.
This is such a beautiful and unique game. It received its first remaster back in the glory days of the PlayStation 3. If there were any. Don't get me wrong, I love my PS3, and it was where I played Shadow of the Colossus and Ico with stereoscopic 3D. And let me tell you that it's a freaking awesome experience. Well, I've already told you that on my video dedicated to 3D compatible games, not only for the PS3, but also for the Xbox 360. Check it out if you missed it.
Crap.
But back to its original PlayStation 2 release in 2005-2006 here in Europe, it was possible to be enjoyed with progressive scan enabled. But let's face it, few were the ones that had the chance to enjoy this one and all others included in this video with 480p resolution. TVs that supported component in and even the component cables themselves were nowhere to be seen. So I only started to fully enjoy these games around 2013, right when the console was discontinued and when the PlayStation 4 was a couple of months away from its debut. Even so, I was completely overwhelmed with its graphical beauty, pushing the hardware of a PlayStation 2 to its limits. To enable progressive scan, just go to the game's own menu. As simple as that.
Black.
Let's revisit one of the most incredible first-person shooters ever made, Black. It came also from Criterion Game Studios back in 2006 and blew everyone's minds. The developer even claimed that their intention was to do for shooting what Burnout did for racing, tear it apart, with dual emphasis on destructible environments and the handling and behavior of real-world weapons. And alongside with Burnout Revenge, Black also offered 480p progressive scan, and the method to enable it is the same also at booting, by holding triangle and cross together. So if you like to play it in low res, wait until you experience it in 480p progressive scan. Everything just seems to come alive, more realistic and in consequence way more engaging and immersive. This one is yet another example of an incredible game that never got a remastered version for more recent systems. On the other hand, somewhere around 2007, a sequel was pitched to Electronic Arts, but never saw the light of day. We got Body Count instead, a sort of spiritual successor developed by many members from the original team behind Black, but now published by Codemasters for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Spoilers free, we play as a member of a CIA Black Ops unit that needs to somehow disable an arms smuggling terrorist organization called Seventh Wave. We can carry only 2 weapons at a time, 3 if we throw grenades into the mix, therefore strategy is needed when choosing weaponry. And talking about weapons, sound effects in the game were based on various sounds from movies like Die Hard and True Lies. This category ended up winning the Best Sound and Art Award at the 2006 Develop Excellence Awards. As for gameplay, it's a basic mission-based game, just like so many others, but the combined frenzy of the chaotic action, sound effects and music have the power to draw us back over and over.
OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast.
And to conclude, one of the most amazing games on the system, OutRun 2006 Coast to Coast. And with progressive scan, it's absolutely stunning, offering frenetic gameplay and vibrant colors, something quite uncommon, cause as you know, the system's palette tends to be a tad darker. Sumo Digital used the same formula applied to their Xbox conversion of OutRun 2 a year earlier, improving and expanding it to a whole new level. Again, the progressive scan mode is offered while booting, and in this one, new game modes and cars are available, turning Coast to Coast into the most complete package in the whole OutRun series. And the best one too! There's no realistic physics and damage, only pure and insanely fast fun. And besides driving these beautiful and licensed Ferraris, we have to impress not just one, but several different girlfriends. Oh yeah! But again, the progressive mode in this one is really something to behold. What a beautiful, beautiful game! So guys, wanna see more PlayStation 2 PAL games that supports 480p? Leave a comment down below and I'll surely get back to this subject in one of my future uploads. And to keep up to date of my latest videos, don't forget to click on that bell icon. That way you'll be notified when a new one is available. But for that, you must be subscribed to the channel to be able to activate all notifications. Also, and if you really enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and to share it across the multitude of social media out there. It will help tremendously. Thank you very much for watching and I'll catch you all in my next video. Cheers!